It's kind of hard to meet all the meetings once the school semester gets, wrapped up and you get a lot of homework. So we put a lot of effort to put some more in-depth and more dedicated meetings towards the beginning when you don't have as much going on. We are also putting the less involved and shorter meetings towards the end where you got midterms and finals and whatnot to deal with. This is all about getting you to come out to our weekly meeting. If you guys aren't already, please sign up on our mailing list. Membership is open to all UT students, but everyone is welcome to attend. Finally, we're also privileged to have another live lecture on April, which will just be right after midterm, another good time. Information will come to you in email. If you're not in our mailing list, go ahead and sign up. And if you haven't already, check out our table. Alan back there, our Secretary and Treasurer, has a whole bunch of material. If you find a topic, or if you find there's a bunch of pamphlets on different topics, and if you find one that you find interesting, please by all means take it. It's all free. In related news, I just wanted to share this with you. This also available at the table is information on the Atlas Shrugged essay contest. First, I'm not very good at this. I'm not a professor. Still, you can't see it. $10,000 for grand prize. That's a lot of money. And it goes down. Just to kind of go through it, even the 50 semi-finalists is $50, not too bad. 5 third prizes, $1,000. It's a lot of money for an essay. Highly recommend checking it out if you're an undergraduate. We also have this offer, which is a free copy of Atlas Shrugged. You pay $2 for shipping, and it's yours. Finally, there is a summer internship at the Ayn Rand Institute. If you're interested and have free time this summer, I highly recommend you checking it out. Brittany was one member who was able to take part in this. She has a fantastic experience. I'm sure you will as well. So all that information, again, is at the table where Alan is at. Moving on to the topic for today. Dr. Yaron Brook received his MBA and PhD right here from UT. He taught finance for 7 years. A couple of years there at UT, and then in California, he's the current president of the Ayn Rand Institute, a nonprofit organization whose purpose is to get young people interested in the ideas of Ayn Rand. And he's a columnist for Forbes.com. He's regularly featured in numerous different newspapers and articles. And finally, he's been on national TV shows and is a regular at TJTV, TJTV.com. A fantastic speaker, and I'm sure you guys will all enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I don't think so. You guys, you need a mic? You need a mic? Yeah. So I've got a bit of a cold. Hopefully that won't affect things too badly. Okay, how's that? Okay. It's always great to be back in Austin. It feels like home. It will be. It always, I think, will feel a little bit like home. Both my sons were born here, so there's a lot of fond memories, a lot of good friends who still live here. Yesterday, the House of Representatives repealed Obamacare. Right? Big deal. Everybody's very excited. Of course, nothing's going to happen because the Senate can't do anything about it because the Democrats control the Senate. Even if somehow a miracle would happen and pass the Senate, Obama would veto it. But, this is a bill that was just passed a year ago. It's a bill that everybody claims American people don't like. They hate it. The polls show that Americans overwhelmingly reject Obamacare. But it's kind of fascinating because actually when you drill down into the numbers, you find that a lot of people don't like Obamacare because it doesn't socialize healthcare enough. That is, the goal of the government is not big enough. There's a huge debate going on out there about healthcare that's often just obscured by the politics involved and by poll numbers and about agendas that the Republicans have and the Democrats have. And when you actually peel it up a little bit, you look at what the Republicans are actually proposing, yeah, it's different than the Democrats, but it's not that different than the Democrats. And I'll in my view, all these plans lead to the same result. So what is it? What is it about what's going on right now that leads to this kind of debate, this kind of, it's almost vicious the way people are dealing with it. What are the alternatives that people are presenting out there on the table that are exciting people to the degree that they are? And I think we need to look at this in really stark terms, because all this discussion about reform and about the existing system and about the direction really represents two alternative forms of healthcare. And when you get one of these, you're not going to stay for very long in this middle ground. You're either going to get a government-run healthcare system where everything is based on the decisions of government bureaucrats. The Canadian system, the British system, the system I'm quite familiar with, the Israeli system, because I lived there. My father is still a physician in that system. It's a government-run healthcare system, or you have a private system. And when you start compromising on the private system, I think it's going to lead to a government-run system. And the Republicans might have repealed Obamacare, but they ain't repealed any of the massive intervention of government into the system today. But I think what's really interesting, so we've got this alternative. We have two alternatives to this. I mean, everything else is noise. All the rest of the discussion is noise. You either have a private system where we all pay for our health care, we buy insurance. You can't buy insurance, you pay out of pocket. You can't pay out of pocket, you get health care from charity, or you just don't get it. That's a private system. Or you've got a social system, a socialized system. What strikes me as odd is that there is a debate. Because if what we're concerned about is quality, the quality of the health care that each one of us gets, then there's no debate. The evidence is unequivocal about what provides quality and what doesn't. So let's look at the socialized model that people are so enamored about and so interested in and passionate about. The left is very, very passionate about this, and the right is a little bit behind them in its passion to move in that direction. Everywhere it's tried, it leads to low quality of healthcare. It leads to rationing. You know who gets better quality of healthcare under socialized medicine, where the government dictates everything? Healthy people. So if you get a cold, you can run to a government clinic and they'll give you the whatever it is you give for a cold. Nothing really. But you get a doctor, look at it, diagnose it, and it's easy, and you don't pay anything, so it's free. Cool. Like free stuff. But if you get really, really sick, then the evidence is unequivocal that the more private the system, the better it is. And the better treatment you're going to get, the higher quality it's going to be, and your survivability, that is your ability to overcome this awful disease, let's say heart disease or cancer, is much, much greater. And the best statistics about that are the American system. The American system is not private, and we'll get to that. But it's the closest to being a private system in a world full of socialized healthcare systems. And yet, if you have cancer, where would you rather be, Canada or in the United States? Well, ask anybody in Canada who can afford to come to the United States. Because what do they do when they get cancer? And they can afford it. They come to the U.S. What do rich Englishmen do when they get cancer? They go to the Mayo Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic is an example of private health. I know from Israel. My dad was a physician because of socialized medicine. When he hit 65, he was forced to retire. At the peak of his career, he was forced out because of their rules. The government bureaucrats have to allow the young guys to come in and kick out the older guys. But when he had a patient that was really, really sick and could afford it, and this is Israel. Think about Israel. Israel's like a country of 6 million Jews, like 1 million doctors, right? There are more doctors per capita in Israel than in any country in the world by a factor of 3 or 4. I mean, it is a country full of Jewish mothers, so you get a lot of doctors. You have so many doctors that the medical schools in Israel can't keep up. So if you're not at the very top of your class, you can't get into medical school in Israel. So they go to places like Romania and, or Eastern Europe or Central Europe. They go anywhere just to get a medical degree, and then they come back to Israel and they practice medicine. So lots of doctors. And the Jewish doctors, they're pretty good, right? And yet, if you get really, really sick in Israel, and you have the money, you get on a plane and you fly to Mayo Clinic. Or to one of the other great hospitals in the United States. They just don't have the equipment, they don't have the resources, they don't have the professionalism that we have in the United States. They just don't have it. The Canadians have busloads of people coming down. Same is true of cancer. There's statistics about breast cancer comparing the United States to Britain, which has socialized medicine. And it's astounding how many more women survive breast cancer. I think in the United States, something about 84% of all women diagnosed with breast cancer survive it. And in Britain, it's below 60%. That's a big number. It's a big number if you get the cancer. Prostate cancer for men, similar numbers. Heart disease, similar numbers. So here we have a system, and we'll talk about its flaws. It's flawed. The existing system is clearly flawed. But when you clearly have outcomes, at least with regard to major diseases, life-threatening stuff, that are far superior to any other system that exists out there, they all come in. When a minister in the government of Canada gets really sick, where do they go? Well, we know, because it happens, right? They fly to LA and they sneak into UCLA Medical Center. Right? If you have the resources, this is where you want to get treated. So, it's interesting that we run an experiment, in the 20th century generally we run an experiment on socialized medicine in Europe, Canada more recently, to some extent in Asia. We run an experiment in the United States of a semi-private system, some socialized elements, but some private elements. The private system, in terms of the inequality, is far better than the socialized system, and yet, we want to give it up. We want to give it up. We want to do away with those private elements. And I say we because, again, the Republicans maybe repealed Obamacare, but let's remember what the Republicans have done in the past, right? Under the Bush administration, they've had the largest expansion of Medicare, which is government-run health care, since it was started. That was a Republican bill. And most of the Republican proposals now don't want to quite move us towards socialized medicine to that end, but they want to creep us towards it. They still want to move in that direction.